That's where our Mike Seidel is this morning. And Mike, take us through the timeline of the snow. When the snow starts, and when's the forecast for this snow moving out of the Windy City?
Hey, Paul, good morning from the Windy City on the river and just off the lakefront. The snow started falling late yesterday afternoon. We've had now over 7 inches at O'Hare, so that's our second 6-inch or larger snowstorm this week. We had 6 inches Monday and Tuesday. So there you go. Quite a snowy week considering how mild it's been in December and January. And the snow will wind down this afternoon. Impacts at the airports. We have a ground stop at Midway until at least 10:30 Central. And we've had 200 flights canceled at O'Hare and 70 at Midway. So check with your air carrier. A lot of the flights I'm looking at are regional jets, not the big jumbo jets. With that said, let's look upriver, the Chicago River. By the way, no ice on the river this year at this point. 2 years ago we were here. It was 23 below zero, and it looked more like the frozen north of Alaska. But you can see the visibility is down with the snow and the wind coming off the lake. We're getting some lake enhancement. So another 1 or 2 inches of snowfall. It will wind down. Temperature, though, not bad. 31 right now. It only got down to 30. That's about where they should be in the middle of the day. So we're not in any kind of Arctic cold. You don't need like 6 layers, and that's helped out with the roadways. Take a look at Charles Peak on the surface streets here in Chicago. He's riding around in Chi-Town, and much like we see here on Wacker and Wabash, the roads have been scraped, they've been plowed, they've been salted, so they're in pretty good shape, as well as the expressways like the Kennedy, Eisenhower, and the Dan Ryan. Dr. Postel, more snow expected here on Thursday, but first things first, we're going to get a lot of snow and wind in those big cities up and down the I-95.
Yes, we are. And the question is, who gets the most out of it? And it may be like we typically see, Mike. Thank you very much, reporting from Chicago.
Live report this morning of how that city is faring with our Mike Seidel. He is in the city of Chicago. And Mike, just like D.C., the downtown area is a lot of concrete, a lot of asphalt around, so it's probably passable. But I know the outlying areas probably big impacts from this winter storm.
Yes, anything that hasn't been plowed or treated, you've got impacts because we've had 7 to 10 inches of snow. It's still coming down. This is officially light snow. We look up the river and visibility is about a mile or so. So that is light snow. It's got to be below 5/8 of a mile to get into the moderate category. Although at this rate, you're going to get a half an inch, up to a half an inch an hour. And we've already had the 7 to 10. We'll see if O'Hare ends up with double-digit total, because that is a pretty significant snowfall in this part of the world when you get a double-digit snowstorm. Hey, let's look up Wacker and Wabash. That's looking up Wabash here at the intersection with Wacker and give you an idea of what the asphalt, the concrete looks like across Chicagoland. Again, plowed and treated. You're seeing the roads that are in pretty good shape. They're not perfect, obviously, because we have the slush and the snow coming down. And Charles Peak can show you the expressways. We've got the Dan Ryan, the Kennedy, the Eisenhower, all those major Chicagoland expressways. He was on 90 before, which takes you out towards O'Hare. I'm not sure where he is right now, but you get a sense of what you're dealing with here in Chicago on the major thoroughfares. But the snow will continue through this afternoon, then wind down. We're getting some lake enhancement. Airports, well, we have the ground delay program at O'Hare. Average arrival delays are running over 2 hours. That doesn't mean your flight is going to be delayed 2 hours. But I can tell you cancellations keep edging up. We've now got about 300 flights canceled, about 225 or so at O'Hare, and about 70 or so at Midway. In fact, the flight I booked has been canceled. So check with your air carrier and see if they can rebook you. And if your flight's delayed 2 hours, stay at home and give yourself some time at home and then head out to the airport. But more snow is expected here in Chicagoland as we get into Thursday. More on that. But first, let's talk about the big storm, this one, Orlena, now moving into the northeast, snowing in D.C., snowing around Philadelphia, and we could get double-digit totals. In fact, the Weather Service in New York City saying they may go with blizzard warnings.